In this video, I'm going to be showing the specifics of how I go about practicing memorizing the notes between the notes, the sharps and the flats. Now, this is how I actually process the stuff through my mind. It's how I simplify it. Music theory is a ton of different information, but really a lot of little pieces, like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, if you will. One of them big jigsaw puzzles. I have like 5,000 pieces. And the more of the little pieces you can put together and assemble and to create clusters of concepts, the more you'll be able to see how it plays in the big picture. And so I introduced all of the notes, all of the possible notes in the last couple of videos. And I'm continuing on, slowing down here now to practice and reinforce the memorization process of how to secure this away in your mind, so when a time of need comes, you can recall it. Right? So stay with me here. We have I'm going to introduce a 3-note at a time practice drill, which I sort of did in the last video, but I'm going to slow down because slow is fast. Slow is fast. Let me tell you, slow is fast when it comes to memorizing. Particularly the more hairy and complicated a topic is, and the less your brain wants to look at it because it's boring, it really pays to slow down and to take the time to just look at it and take a little piece of it and go through it nice and easy, over and over and over and over, until you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't even hard. Why should music theory be hard? Like, why do we have to juggle 20 things at the same time? We don't need to do that. We could zoom in and focus on one little thing and master it, and then be confident going forward indefinitely. Then do the next thing and the next thing, one jigsaw puzzle piece at a time. And then you start to get confidence with bigger and bigger pieces. All right, so this is the memorization process, and I'm going to be doing the three note groups, okay, at a time. And essentially what we're doing is taking 2 letters of the musical alphabet, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Again, see, it just keeps repeating. Then it goes up another octave. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, indefinitely. In like both directions, in theory, right? Because we can only hear so far, and the instruments can only go so far. But what happens now is we can go now in between the notes and solidify it in our mind. So let's start the drill. Basically, you take 2 letters, any 2 letters. This is the way my brain literally processes the information, and I'm going to give the steps. You have 2 letters that are presented, A and B. The first thing I do is I ask myself, I cross-reference with the B, C, E, F rule, which is the one. It's the exception that you need to memorize. Between B and C, there's not a note between physically. And between E and F, there's not a note between those 2 notes either physically. So B and C are literally the notes that are right next to each other. So if you're playing a B, the next available higher pitch is literally C. And if you're playing an E, the next higher pitch is an F. So there's no note between these two groups of letters. Group, is it 2 of them a group or a couple? I don't know. But with these two examples of letters that are next to each other in the musical alphabet, there's no note between. So you always got to cross-reference that, and then it will be like a reorienting device that you can use to make sure, or I'm getting this right. So again, let's do the example A and B. A and B, right? Am I talking right now about B, C, or E, F? No, I'm not. Okay, so that it's not one of the exceptions. That means that there is a note between these two letters. Like, I know, like, this sounds like sometimes it's interesting with language because sometimes it takes a lot of words to explain something that you can do mentally really fast. Like, mentally, this is not this hard. Like, it's not hard to do, or it doesn't take that long to process. But like, to say it in words takes a lot of words. It just is the way it is. So okay, A, B, is this B, C, or E, F? So like, this is a question you can ask yourself, right? This first step. What note is between A and B? Is this B, C, or E, F? No. Okay, therefore there's a note between A and B. See what I mean? You could do the same thing between D and E. Am I talking about B, C, or E, F right now? No, I'm talking about D and E. So it's not one of the exceptions. That means there's a note between. G and A. Am I talking about B, C, or E, F right now? Does the B, C, E, F rule apply here? No. Okay, so between G and A, there's a note. The only exceptions are B, C, and E, F. That's where there's no note between. So you're always going to ask, am I talking about those two examples right now? To yourself, right? And then if the answer is no, then there is a note between these two. You get what I'm saying? And then once you know that, once you've checked the first item on the list, is this B, C, or E, F? And the answer is no, now you go on and say, okay, then there's three notes here. There's the two letters, and then there's the note between. And then you could practice them as a 3-letter group or bundle, like a 3-letter cluster, if you will, where you see 1 and 2, and then there's a note between. And I had stated in the last video that you can call that note that's between a sharp or a flat. The sharp it's a note that's above a note that you've already referenced. So it means to take a note and then you raise it by one note to the next note, and then you get the sharp. So like, between D and E, if I take the D and I raise it by one note, it becomes D sharp. But I said that same D sharp note has actually two names, depending on which angle you're looking at it from. If I'm looking at, I could call it a D sharp, but I can also call it an E flat, because flat means below. It's the note below a note. So E flat means the note that's immediately below E. So if we have D and E, we have D, the note between D and E, and we have E, a 3-note cluster, right? D, the note between D and E, and now E. So the way I think about it mentally is I visualize D and E are here, and there's a note between. What is it called? Well, it could be called either name. If I'm looking at it from the perspective of it's the note between D and E, which is the note above D. So to get that note, I need to raise D by one note, which is D sharp. That's one way to look at it, and one name you can call it is D sharp. Or I could look at it as it's the note that comes before E or below E, which I could then, if I'm looking at it from that perspective, oh wait, it's the note when you take E and you lower it by one note, you have an E flat. So the note is E flat, which means that the note that's between them two notes can be referred to as a D sharp or an E flat. But in reality land where we live, It's not just conceptual, right? Where in real life, you can only like take your finger on a piano and play one note, right? That's between those two notes. So that means then that the note has two names. It has the name D sharp, and it also has the name E flat. And all of the sharps and flats are this way. Between A and B, there's an A sharp, or you could call the same exact note B flat. It's not a different note, it's the same note. But you call it different names based off of what it is that you're doing. By the way, you know, I'm juggling a little bit just to give you a little perspective, right? This is what my car looks like right now. Like all of this is papers. Like all of this is like a different house. And like I have all these other ones all the way down here. Like I got hundreds and hundreds of houses to go to. And it's difficult. Like, and that's not even all. Like I got more back here. Like I got like this whole other bundle. And it looks like that's all I have for now. And then I got other bundles back there that I got to do later. So when I say that I'm busy, it's an understatement. It's just that I have the conviction that like I'm walking through life with this skill set, and I really can't it's been very hard. I don't like to use the word can't. But it's been very hard for me to find time to share what I know, and to, you know, for you could be blessed with it too, you know. Like when you know something and you're strong with it, it's a blessing in your life. And the beautiful thing is you can actually go ahead now and make music with that knowledge, right? Which is the end goal at the end of the day. I want to be able to take this, what I'm learning, and go to an actual guitar, or to a piano, or to a bass guitar, and like apply these things and learn. Like, you know, make something that sounds good, that moves people, that moves me, right? So like the theory is like, how does it work? How does music work? I'm trying to understand how music works. That's what music theory is. But sorry, I'm exhausted. I get up like 2 o'clock, like shortly after 2 o'clock today. I'm working anywhere from 60 to 100 hours a week on average. And sometimes my brain just blanks out when I'm out here early like this. But pretty much you're trying to understand how music works. That's what music theory is. But we want to understand it, so you might just want to understand it, and that's cool. If you're more like me, you want to take it now and apply it to real life situation. The theory is only serves like I want function. See what I mean? So like when you're in real life situation and you need to know this to be able to play on an instrument or to play along with a band, you want to understand this stuff. And the more you understand, the more useful you are when you get with a group of other people that are playing. There's a drummer's there, and there's another guy with a guitar. You know, there's a girl on the bass or whatever. Like you got singers. There's 3 singers. There's a singer that sings. Those singers sing the harmony. And sometimes they take turns on the leads. There's the male singer and 2 female singers. Like when you're in real life, a real situation, and the better you have command of this stuff, it comes in useful in that moment. Trust me. Like there's certain things you can't fake when it matters, like when the chips are down. Anyway, forgive my little ramble there. I'm in a transitional part of my schedule right here, and it's a little bit of juggling. Today's the day where they give us a whole bunch of extra stuff to do, a whole bunch of extra work to essentially do for, like, we're not really compensated for it, like for the extra demand, like the extra work we have to do. Well, we do what we got to do out here, right? And so I lost one of the thoughts I wanted to share. It's all good. The music theory, the memorizing of the sharps and flats is very important for practical usage of music theory, and also for just being able to learn the next set. Like, to learn anything after this, you need to have this as like already understood material, like memorized. So the 3-note drill is a memorization drill. It's just, you need to understand the concept. Okay, there's a note between these 2 notes. If I could call it sharp if I'm referring to the first note that's being raised, or I could call it a flat if I'm referring to the same exact note in real life but lowered by 1 note. It's been so cold out here this week. I gotta put some heat on. I hope it's not too noisy. But I'm gonna go through. So, like, just understand, like, this video, I'm introducing the drill, and then I'm gonna be doing a lot of review of this as I go. And I'm probably gonna put out a whole bunch of short videos, like shorts. If you go to the section in the YouTube channel that says shorts, there's a thing that says videos, and then there's a thing that says shorts, right? And then there's a thing that says live. Click on the one that says shorts, and you'll see all the short videos that I'm starting to now post, right? And I'll be doing drills, probably just 3-note group at a time. In the one, because the video is a minute or less, right? And you could just listen to that, or it loops automatically. You could listen to it over and over and practice along with it. All right, so I'll be trying to do those most likely. All right, so let's do some here though. Let's do B and C. B and C, right? What's the note between B and C? Aha, I got you. I got you. There's no note between B and C. And if I didn't get you, good on you. Let's keep going, right? Between E and F. What note is between E and F? There's not a note between E and F. All of the other examples that we can practice do have the note between. But each time there's a note between, it has 2 names. The sharp or the flat. It's the same note either way, but it has 2 names. Just to decide how you're looking at it right now, and really the context that you're in decides that. But for now, right? So, okay, so let's go through it. Between A and B. A sharp, B. See? So first thing I say, is it B, C, or E, F? No. Okay, so there's a note between it, and I can say it's A, the sharp of A, and then B. Or I could say the same 3 note. I could say, well, what does that A sharp, what's the other name? Well, it's the note below B, so it's B flat. So then I could say the 3-note, right? 3-note clusters, 3-note group that I'm practicing. Not A flat, because that's below A. It's the note below B flat, right? It's the note below B. Blah, 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 tongue, come on, work for me, tongue. Work for me, brains. You have A and B. The note above A is A sharp, and the note below B is B flat. But they're the same note both times. So we could say A sharp B, or A B flat B. A sharp B. A B flat B. Or you could go backwards, right? Descending. You could say B flat A. Okay? Which feels more natural to me anyway. Let's do another one. Between B, C. Let me just go through all the way, all right? Between B, C. We'll try to do this in like 5 minutes or less, and then I'll end the video. Between B and C. Is it B, C, or E, F? Oh yeah, it is. It is B, C, or E, F this time. Oh man, I can't. There's no note between, so it's just BC. All right, oh, it's one of the easy ones. All right, cool. Let's go to the next one. I'm having to put these papers into bags as I go. I'm a juggler. Just like when you're in a band, you gotta juggle. You gotta not trip on the wire. You gotta not step on the next guy's foot. You gotta not, you know, you gotta manage to play while you're singing into the mic and all of that nonsense. Between, so we did AB and we did BC. Now let's go CD. CD, 3 note. Is it, first rule, is it BC or EF? CD. No, it's not. Okay, cool. That means there's 3 notes here. All right, cool. So what are the 3 notes? Well, I have C, C sharp, D. Or I could look at it. If I'm looking at it from the flat perspective, the C sharp is not C sharp. It's D, D flat, C, going backwards, right? Or I could go forwards and say C, D flat, because it's the note before D, D. Let's go to the next one. After C, D in the musical alphabet, we have D and E. So we're gonna do a checklist, right? Is it BC or EF? Oh no, it's not BC or EF. So that means that this is a 3 note. There's 3 notes here. There's a note in there hiding between D and E. I see you trying to hide in between there. So what do we call it? We could say D, D sharp, E. D, D sharp, E. And I'm gonna do just like this in a short video, so don't worry. Like this one is, I'm putting all the information here, and then you could go to the short videos and like I'll just be going through so slow over and over again so we can master, you know, one at a time. D, D sharp, E. D, D sharp, E. Good. Let's do between D and E. Let's count backwards from E, descending. E, E flat, D. E, E flat, D. E. The note below E, E flat, D. We're going down. Or you could go up. D, E flat, E. Or you could go back and forth. E, E flat, D, E flat, coming back up, E. It's 3 notes. The note between is E flat. Gotcha. Let's go to the next set of notes. EF. Let's check our checklist. Is it BC or EF? Oh wait, you're talking about EF. Yeah, it is EF. Okay, then it's just EF. It's a 2-note group. Okay, there's no note between. No matter how much I want there to be a note between, there's not. It's just accept it. Accept reality, okay? Accept it. Suck it up. Let's go to the next set of notes. F, G. F, note between, F sharp, G. F, F sharp, G. F, F sharp, G. Or the alternative, G, G flat, F. See how this is? So I'm giving you a framework for how to reason it out, like why is it like this and what are the exceptions and so forth. And then a drill to practice. Like I know like this might seem like, if you're listening to this right now, it's either like, oh man, I still don't get it. Or you're like, all right, this is like, I get it already. Like come on, let's go to the next thing. But like you need to slow down. Slow is fast when it comes to developing skills and like burning stuff into your memory. You need to slow down and really sort this out the right way. Because if I go quick, what's between D and C, D and F, whatever, D and E, like you need to be able to to say D sharp or E flat, like what, you know, depending on what key signature you're in or whatever. I'll talk about it later in the future. But like, you need to have command of this. Like, you need to think about the sharps and the flats just as easy as you think of the letters. Or else it's going to be a rough ride. Trust me. It's going to be a rough ride down the way. It's not that it's that hard, but you need to learn how to use the parts of your brains that can recall this and think of it as natural. It needs to build up like a muscle. So these are drills you could do when you're waiting at the bus stop. Or if you're more blessed and you can drive while you're driving to work. When you gotta kill some time, you're sitting in a doctor's office. You gotta kill some time, you can use that. You can build your you could work on building this muscle with these drills, right? So we were at F and G, F sharp, G, F sharp, G. Or we could say F, G flat, G, F, G flat, G. Repeat, you know? F, G flat, G. It's the same thing as stone. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9, right? And you just kept doing it over and over again. And like, that's how you know, right? We're doing the same thing here. Doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing that kids do to learn. So F sharp, G, or F, G flat, G. And then we'll go from G. The next note after G is H, right? I'm singing a high H. No, that was a terrible impersonation. It sounded good in my head until I tried. Anyway, between G, you have G, and the next letter after G is A again. So G and A. The next note above G is A. So we have G and A. Is it EC? I mean EC. Is it BC or EF? Like the rule? No, it's not. Oh, okay, so that means there's a note between G and A. Oh, okay. What's the note? Well, if it's the note above G, it's G sharp. If it's the note below A, it's A flat. So let's do the two possibilities. G, the 3-note, right? The 3-note bundle here. 3-note group. G, G sharp, A. G, G sharp, A. And it could help to like write this down too on a piece of paper. I mean, I can't do it right now while I'm driving, but you could take it on a piece of paper and you can write like the 2 letters in one color or in like black, and then you could put like red and put the sharp in between. You know what I mean? And then do the same thing. Maybe you do it with green and you put the 2 letters and you put it with green with the flat. And that way you can visualize it too, which I sort of do naturally. But sometimes, like, everybody's different, and you may have to build that muscle of being able to see the letters in your head. G, G sharp, A. G, G sharp, A. This video is going to take a little longer. I mean, you know, it is what it is because it takes time to do this. G, G sharp, A. Okay? And then we could say G, A flat, A. G, A flat, A. G, A flat, A. Or if you feel more comfortable counting backwards because you're going down, because flat is down, you could say A flat, G, which we call descending or going down, like you descend down a hill. For me personally, going backwards feels more natural with the flats. It feels more natural because I'm thinking backward. I'm thinking going lower. You know what I mean? But either way works. A, Below A is A flat. Below A flat is G. A flat, G. A flat, G. Counting upwards, G, A flat, A, G, A flat, A. And we're back at A, which means that we literally went through all of the possible notes, which in is 12 in all, and per octave, right? We went through all of the possible notes, and I need to find this guy's okay. We went through all the possible notes and all of the possible variations. See, each time you're gonna check B, C, and E, F to see if that's where you are, and if you're not, there's a note between, and it's a sharp or a flat, and they're both the same note with two different names depending on your perspective. All right, and I will be creating a series of short videos practicing one video with each particular cluster of 3 notes, so you could go through those over and over again on loop and just repeat and practice with me, and it'll burn it into your memory. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do it exactly, but I will get on that as soon as I can, and then it'll be there for you, okay? Because we want to have weapons that can help us to memorize more quickly. Like, see, it's not that it's hard, you just need to be patient. Being patient is hard, but it's not the kind of hard like, oh, this is too complicated, this is too, no, I'm not smart enough to understand this. That's not what it is. Once I'm patient enough to slow down, then and to go through this the right way, then that's when it's going to be easy. That's when music theory is going to be easy, simple, super duper easy mode, right? And so on the channel here, in the short section, there's going to be little drills like this that can help you out on your journey to make it as effortless and smooth as it can possibly. It's a little bit of a painful journey, but as easy as it can be conceivably made. I hope to serve you in that way. But anyway, this is going to be it for this video, and thank you for watching and for choosing to learn with me. It's a tremendous blessing to me just to be able to share, and I thank you and I commend you for having the courage that trust me, I know it does take to be able to do this. It's not easy. It's not easy, but we're gonna try our best to make it easy. All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do this together. All right. If a goofball like me could do it, trust me, you'll get it. You get it. Because you just got to learn how to think about the stuff in a more simple way. And don't be so hard on yourself. And it's gonna come together. You got this. All right, later.